Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 41. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, um, Lord. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I was not feeling this week, but we shall move. All right, so we start the episode off with Ted stretching in his office, and he gets a phone call from Leslie, and she's basically asking him, "Have you met with Isaiah yet?" And um, she's telling him that Isaiah is important to Eva, and that sorry, she's telling him to let Isaiah know that Eva is important and that her dad is important and comes with the community or something like that. And she's saying that Eva is smitten with him, and that could be his new son-in-law. And it's just like, Eva, really, no, you're smitten with him, but I digress. So he tells her he got it handled, and hangs up on her. Honestly, he really shouldn't even be answering her phone calls because, again, Eva is not 5 years old. Y'all don't need to be y'all don't need to be in constant communication about anything, like anything at all. So um why he continues to answer her calls, or um even like give her the leeway to do the things that she does with him, is beyond me. But of course, he likes it, so I digress. Um, so he then, Carlton comes in his office to go over his schedule because Carlton's about to go away for the weekend for his niece's birthday shindig or whatever. So he wants to go over the schedule, and Ted tells him, I'm about to go, but we can go over the schedule in the car when we can go and play, and you can come and play ball with us or whatever. So they make a bet about whoever wins is going to buy dinner or lunch or something like that. So they also, as they're going out, they run into Kyle, and Kyle lets them know that he used to play basketball. His high school team or college team or something like that went to the state champion. So Carlton invites him to come play with them or whatever. We see Isaiah. He's at the club, and he's looking for he's saying he's here for the reservations for Ted, and they can't find the reservations. Andre comes in and tells him, "Oh, yeah, we not y'all not doing dinner. We're gonna play basketball, all this other stuff." Um, and Isaiah's happy about that because he didn't want to be grilled or whatever. But so Andre was just like, "Oh, how are things going with you and Eva? Must be well." He's like, "Yeah, it is," and he wasn't expecting it. He wasn't expecting Ted to reach out to him. Andre says he's trying, since he found out about his daughter, he's trying to have a more important role in her life or whatever. Isaiah says, her Eva's relationship with Ted is really important to her, and he wishes others would show her the same respect. And Andre says most do, considering everything. But if Nicole wanted to hold a grudge, she had every right to. But Kat is being Kat. And I had to say pause because, first of all, everyone has forgotten and treats Eva as if she didn't do what she did. So the fact that Isaiah is saying he wishes others would treat her a certain way is beyond me, because they all treat her as this fragile somebody who was taken advantage of by her mama, when that's not how they're treating her. Second of all, Kat, Nicole, and Martin should be able to hold a grudge against Eva because she came in and embarrassed the living mess out of their mama. So Kat and Martin have a right to hold a grudge against Eva and not like her. I don't care who her daddy is. I don't have to like her because of what she did to my mama. Like, I don't understand what people aren't getting, what people aren't understanding. And then on top of that, what she did to Kat. Why are y'all acting like what she did to Kat doesn't warrant no, I mean, doesn't warrant Kat having a grudge against her? Why do y'all want Kat to just, oh, it is what it is because she's back with Tomas? I don't care if she went back to Tomas or not. I would still hold a grudge against the woman who actively went after my man, knowing that he was my man. And the fact that you are her sister on top of that, and you still did what you did, miss me with that. I don't care if he said that they were broken up for a minute, for a week, for a month, for a year. You don't sleep with your sister's man. And if your sister is going to hate you for the rest of her life because of that, you have nothing to say, and you can't say anything about it. But of course, no one cares. They all just want to come after Kat and make it seem like Kat isn't wrong when she's not. But I digress. So Izaiah says that Eva's catching the heat because of her mom, but they aren't anything alike. And yes, they are, but I digress. Andre agrees, and she's like her mama, but maybe even worse. Whatever. Izaiah says she isn't a saint, but she admits when she's wrong and she owns it. No, she doesn't. She has not owned up to sleeping with Tomas and being wrong for that. She hasn't apologized to Kat for that. She made it seem like Kat was in her way of being with Tomas, but whatever. Um, they go and get clothes since Izaiah isn't dressed for the game. So we see them all in the locker room, and we don't get to see. They are picking their teams for who they're going to play with each other or whatever. Ted gets he picks Ted picks Izaiah and Kyle, and Carlton takes Andre, and then they go and find somebody that's at the country club that's playing or whatever. So they go play the game. We don't get to see them play the game or whatever. Um, they come back from the game. I'm not really sure who won the game. I can't remember if they said who won or not or whatever. But they're talking smack to each other. Carlton and Kyle, they keep going back and forth or whatever. Ted invites Izaiah to go and get a drink with him afterwards or whatever. So he leaves to go and get the drink, and then Carlton and Kyle continue to go back and forth with each other or whatever. He gets a call from Nicole asking him to come on a double date, but she turns him down because he's going away for the weekend or whatever. So she says something to the effect of, this is the second time you turn me down. If the third time I feel like, whatever. And that's when he tells her, I already told you about this. So she's just like, oh yeah, that's right. I understand, whatever. So as he's talking to Nicole, he makes it known to Kyle that Nicole called him or whatever. So once he leaves, Kyle leaves or whatever, and Ted chastises, not Ted. What's this man's name? Andre says, tells what's his name? Carlton, that this isn't what Nicole would want. So keep playing around and you're gonna lose her, basically. So we see Izaiah and Ted, they're at the bar in the club, and then they're talking about, his intentions with Eva, and how she survived so much and she's come out stronger and all this other stuff. And Isaiah's just like, he won't let her slip away. Ted is happy that he's happy, and he doesn't want to see Eva get hurt. And he should understand, his concerns with Eva dating him, considering his history. And then he makes mention of Jacob and Naomi's wedding. And I wish, if they're not going to show us what happened, I wish they would just tell us what happened. But I digress. So he says he's changed. Ted understands. Ted tells him that Leslie is already calling him son-in-law. They laugh about it, and Izaiah thinks that he's joking, that Leslie's joking, and Ted is just like, yeah, nah, she's not joking. And she's gonna do whatever she's gonna do. She will do whatever she has to do to make it happen. So we see what else did we see? We see Tomas. He approaches Eva at the he approaches Eva because she's at Orphe Jeans and she's texting Izaiah trying to figure out how everything is, happening. And Tomas says, how is the finest bookworm that he knows or whatever. And I'm just like, sir, no, I hate Tomas. Like, why would you say that to her? Why would you call her the finest? I don't care. She's not the finest anything. You slept with that girl. Matter of fact, you shouldn't be talking to her. You should not have a relationship with her. Off rip. Like, I just hate it. They flirt about the books. She needs advice. She tells him that Ted is meeting Izaiah, and she isn't used to this because Alan never cared or whatever and all this other stuff. And it's just like, whatever. She wants to know what Izaiah is getting into or what he should expect. And he says, the first time he met, his meetings with Ted were terrifying the first time. All the Dupree men like ambushed him or whatever. And then the second time it was uncomfortable because Ted confronted him about the whole him sleeping with Eva or whatever, and him wanting to crawl under a rock and all this stuff. And it was just like, first of all, that's not how it was. Ted didn't confront you about anything. He made a flippant remark about it, but whatever. You should feel bad because you are trash for sleeping with sisters, but whatever. So she's happy that he's protective. She's like, oh my God, I'm so happy that he's protective of he was worried about me. He's protective of me and not just Kat. And it's just like, oh, girl, it's always a competition with her when it comes to Kat. Like, you want to make sure that you're getting everything Kat has. And it's just like, girl, whatever. So she says that, she says that, she felt awful when Ted confronted her about the situation. It was just like, again, Ted didn't confront you about the situation. ted just Ted made a remark about it and then y'all laughed about it, and he was just like, oh well, it was no, girl, you wrong for what you did. No one has told you that you were wrong for sleeping with that girl's man. Everyone has let you get away with it, but whatever. So, what's it called? Hold on, before we get there, we see um Leslie, because again, when she was talking to Ted, she was outside of Uptown. She walks in and she sees Vanessa and Nicole, laughing or whatever, and she approaches them. Um because Nicole and Cap, I mean not Cap, Nicole and Vanessa were talking about Kat not being satisfied with any of the homes that she has shown her, and Nicole was just like, oh, she didn't know that she was looking for a place, and she knows that her and Tomas are, were good, but she didn't know that they were ready to live together. Vanessa was just like, nah, she's looking for a place on her own, and Nicole was just like, oh, I thought that she loved living with Chelsea. And she was just like, yeah, I don't think that. She was just like, I think the honeymoon is over. That's when Leslie shows up. Nicole is annoyed that Leslie is bothering her. And she tells her to crawl back in the gutter that she came out of and leave her alone. Leslie said she's here to talk to Joey's mouthpiece, which is Vanessa. Vanessa tells her, don't call me out my name. Don't call me anything other than my name. And Leslie is just like, okay, my bad. And it's just like, whatever. So Leslie wants to talk about the clinic. She wants to announce the opening of the clinic. And she needs to get the news outlets there. And Vanessa is just like, not no, but hell no. No, I'm not gonna help you. And she tells her she's not allowing her anywhere near the press. Leslie says she came to Joey with the idea, and her name should be the one that splashed across the building. But Joey put a stop to it. But no matter what she says, she is the face of the clinic. Nicole says, oh, so this is performative philanthropy. And she calls Leslie sad. Leslie, um, Leslie makes a dig at the Duprees, and Nicole tells her to remember what happened the last time you goaded me into putting my hands on you. So just remember what happened last time. Um, Vanessa, stops her before she says anything more or before she does anything more. And she tells Leslie if she wants her help, she needs to leave. And so she does. So Nicole complains to Vanessa about how Leslie is getting away with everything, how she is winning, and she's not being what is it? Everything that she did, she hasn't been um gosh, why can't I think right now? But basically, she's saying everything that Kat has been saying about Leslie. And it's just it's like, so you're saying everything that your daughter has said about Leslie, but you keep telling your daughter not to. It's like, girl, you are having the same complaints as Kat is, but when Kat voices those complaints to you, you make her feel bad about them. But it's just like you feel the same way. So why aren't y'all commiserating together? Why are you leaving your daughter on an island on her own when you feel the exact same way? Like, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. And it's annoying because it's like everyone is making Kat out to be the bad guy when they all feel the exact same way that she does. So, like, beyond annoying. But I digress. So, what's it called? What happens? She says she hates that she got the money and she's doing all of this and she's doing it with Vanessa's help. Vanessa says it wasn't her idea, but it was just like, girl, it was not your idea, but you're the one who talked to Joey and made sure that he did it. So you are to blame too. So girl, whatever. Nicole says she's not blaming her, but she's not blaming her. She's just mad that Leslie gets to walk around here bulletproof. So Vanessa says, every day that she talks about this, will every day she's obsessing over Leslie. Nicole, I mean, yeah, every day Nicole obsesses over Leslie. Leslie is winning or whatever. So Nicole is just like, I can't think of anything else when she's always around. So Vanessa changes the subject and they start talking about the double date. That's when Nicole calls Carlton, and Carlton, turns her down or whatever. Um, because she's talking about going on the double date with Joey, and Vanessa's not letting her get out of it or whatever. So as they're talking about that, she's telling her, oh, he can't come, blah 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 blah. Kyle calls her or whatever. Kyle calls Vanessa, sorry. So we see Leslie, she comes to Orphe Jeans and she gets snappy with Tomas, and she's just like, why, don't you have somewhere else to be, and something like that or whatever. And Eva's just like, why are you being rude? And it's just like, your mama's always rude. What are you on? But whatever. What she say? She tells her why you want to be friends with someone who left you for your stepsister, or your not your stepsister, but she makes a dig at Kat or whatever. Um, what she tells her? What else happens? Eva says she's adult. Eva said, oh, when she tells her, why you want to be with a man who left you for who chose Kat over you is beyond her. She says she's adult and she knows how to be mature. Leslie tells her, what if Izaiah came in, and then she's just like, oh, he don't spook easy, and he's spending time with her dad. And Leslie, she was just like, he's spending time with my dad. And Leslie was just like, cause thanks to me. And I'm just like, y'all are both. So Eva wants to know what she did. She tells her, she talked to Ted to do what daddies do, to check on him or whatever. And Eva's annoyed by it. She's saying how, what if this messes things up with her and Izaiah? and da 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 da. And then Leslie wants her to get married, and she's talking about she wants to pick a wedding date, and she wants them to be married by autumn, all this other stuff. Eva is just like, girl, Leslie was just like, I didn't pay all this money for the country club to not get, we need to get this wedding on the books for the country club. And she's just like, I didn't, when Eva says I can pick my own date, she's just like, I didn't pay all this money for a membership for you to just go and run off like comment vote. And it's just like, ma'am, you paid all of that money to be in a country club because you wanted to keep up with the Duprees. That's why you did that, but whatever. Eva wants to know why she's rushing this, and Leslie says they're perfect for each other. And Eva is just like, nah, we like being independent. And she was just like, oh, well, since you got a place because of me, why don't you let him move in? And she's just like, nah. And Leslie's just like, moving in can come with, securities, that all this stupid stuff or whatever. Um, Eva says, would you be thrilled if I was marrying someone other than Izaiah? And she was just like, well, why wouldn't you want to marry that fine piece of specimen or something like that? And I was just like, girl, child, whatever. So Leslie says, oh no, Leslie was just like, he's fine. He's a Hawthorne. He comes from a well-to-do family and all this other stuff. And then Eva says, well, all the Hawthorns are cops except for Izaiah, and it's convenient in case some receipts come to light. And Leslie tries to play it off, and she's just like, Eva's just like, she's just like, oh, since Kat's been going around, saying stuff lately, is you just you think that me and Izaiah getting together, that Elon would make things go away for his daughter-in-law or whatever. And Leslie was just like, oh, I didn't think of that, but that would be a nice perk and incentive for you to get, for Izaiah to pop the question or whatever. And so Eva tells her that Elon and Izaiah don't talk. And Leslie's just like, well, weddings have a way of bringing family together, and this is a way that you can, nudge Izaiah in the right direction. And Eva is just like, I want to protect my relationship, and if you push Izaiah away, you'll never forgive me, and don't forget that you taught me everything I know about revenge. And it's like, girl, so you will have revenge against your mama because of a man, but not about the fact that she kept your daddy from you? Whatever, go off. We see Bill and Haley. Haley brings Bill some dinner, and they talk about her winning at blackjack, and she brought the dinner to thank him for her anniversary, and he wants to, he doesn't want to. He starts talking about having a baby. He took a call, and then after that they talk about the baby, about having a baby some more. Haley says she doesn't know, she didn't know he was ready for a child. She's trying to, like, not like really do go there that way, because it's just like, she's doing a con, so of course she don't want to have his baby or whatever. So she keeps making up excuses. She tells him that they both need to get checked out, especially since he's had this thing with his levels or whatever. So he's just like, all right, we'll get checked out. Once we get the all clear, then boom, we're gonna have a baby or whatever. So Tomas comes in, and he wants to talk to Bill about his case. And Haley says if it's Lynette's case, then she needs to be there. So Tomas tells them that, he, did a deep dive into what's her name, into Lynette, but it wasn't what he found that bothered him, but what he didn't find. And he says that she barely exists, and there's no paper trails, like she dropped out of the sky the day she landed on their doorstep or whatever. And Haley is just like, oh, that's odd. And Bill is just like, no, that's smart. You got to scrub your life clean. Tomas is just like, doesn't that bother you? And he doesn't that bother you that she's a ghost? And he says half the people who we work for are ghosts. That doesn't mean that they're guilty of every charge. They're not innocent by a long shot, but it doesn't mean that that they're guilty. But it's not their job to judge, but to keep them out of jail. So Tomas tells He tells Haley if Lynette confides in him to let him know. She gets defensive about it, and he's just like, I'm just saying or whatever. But Bill doesn't pay attention to it. And yeah, that was about it. That was the majority of the episode. Um, yeah, so that was majority of the episode. Not a lot happened in this episode. Um, yeah, it was what it was. What I will say about the whole Haley and Bill situation and the whole Lynette thing, it's just like, Bill, just like you said, half of the people that you work for are ghosts. So that majority of them have like some type of dealings that isn't on the up and up. So the fact that you aren't paying attention to Lynette and her relationship to your wife, it's like, why are they making Bill this dummy? It's annoying. But that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought of the episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.